Hello, welcome to the weekly book art media writing group. This is, we got Sarah and Kevin here with us today. We may have some others dropping in later, and we're here to encourage each other and just talk about being creative and what we're working on, what we're planning, and just being positive and expressive and supportive. That's kind of what that is how we do. So anyway, all right. I was just saying, I'll just, but enough about me. What do you think about me? um, no, I was talking just before we went on. So if you don't mind, I'll just continue what I was going to say, which was that I've been actually thinking about, since I'm going to be talking about later when it's my turn, the how the recording's going of the book. It dawned on me that I would have a lot of fun. I might write and make some videos on like the astrology of Henry VIII or and his wives, or
That's very cool.
and different historical figures or different events or what have you. Because I found myself listening to a lot of history, and I ended up back in Henry VIII stuff again, which I studied when I was a teenager in depth, but it's been a long time, and it's complicated. It's a complicated story. So, but I don't know. I was just thinking about doing something like that. But anyway, but enough about me.
Sounds like it's right in your wheelhouse. And the Shakespeare and things like that too would be an interesting look.
Oh yeah, but who was Shakespeare? Anyway, so Kevin, you want to go first? How's the writing been going?
I did really good. I've been struck with quite a large amount of inspiration lately, as you all know. And I'm just figuring out that the letters are all different on the keyboards. It's not A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. And whoever made all that up, I have no idea, but I'm learning where the letters are now. So this week I did 4,471 deluxe words. And knowing that I wasn't going to be able to work most of next week or be here next weekend because I've got to go out to my place out west, and I don't have any computer hookup or anything out there. So I kind of bared down a little bit more than I normally would. But I really enjoyed it, and I am enjoying it. So that's where I am. But I'm gonna lower my expectations for next week. I think down to about 1,000.
But you're making progress. This is amazing. Okay, well, I've got you down for 1,000 for next week.
Thank you.
I was reading a new book I hadn't read before on dictation. So I don't know if that's something you'd be interested in, but it can be. There was actually the book I was reading was a guy who's written. He's written for a lot of the big. What's the word I'm looking for? Star Trek, Star Wars. They have their own sections in bookstores. Those, what are they? I think it's more than just series. Genres, yes, something like that. At the end of the fantasy section in the bookstore, there's actually a whole section of Star Wars, Star Trek, and other things like that. So anyway,
Fandoms.
Yeah, stuff like that. And you have to be a writer. Like you have deadlines. You must meet them. You must also know the lore, and a lot of those books don't get the credit they deserve, I think. But between a bunch of those and other things, he's written 150 novels.
Wow.
And there's actually a link to one of his raw recordings of the beginning of it was a vampire novel he decided to write called Stake. And you can hear him because he would record in the car. He loved to go on walks. His wife came down with really horrendous carpal tunnel, and she thought that his dictation thing was It's just an eccentric thing he does. Well, she couldn't type like she used to. So she switched over and she's like, "Oh, I see now. I see what you're doing here."
I tried to talk to text, but with my southern accent, it was hysterical. It couldn't figure out a single thing I was saying. So I spent more time going back to re-edit than it was just to go ahead and bear down and get it done. But it was.
I'm with you on that one.
I could have written a whole comedy show on that all by itself. But yeah, I get your point. I knew a court reporter one time, and they record everything, and then later they go back and they do all the paperwork that they have to turn in. And it's amazing the way that they work off of the recordings that they have, that they listen to in their speed typers, or they have some type of machine that can get them there really quick. And that was just an interesting point.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, hang on. Allison's here. Hey, Allison, how are you?
Hi. Fine. How's everybody doing?
Good. How is Hawaii treating you?
I really can't complain.
Good.
No one wants to hear if I wanted to anyway, so I've taken to saying, don't hate me because I'm warm.
I love that. I love that. I was just...
Oops. That's me.
Thank you. Okay. I was checking my phone. It's like, oh my gosh, is that me? But anyway, one of the things that this guy does is, who has written all of these novels and what have you, he doesn't actually use speech to text. He actually just records it and then has somebody transcribe it.
Right. That's how his wife got carpal tunnel, most likely.
Well, that might be it, but it sounded like there are people who are particularly, it's a skill set to be able to just go straight,
That's like the court reporter I'm talking about. They just use all the courtroom dialogue and they just whack it out. And then they make tons of money because they're really always in demand.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, are you talking about speech to
text, or just really we're talking about dictation, and it can be speech to text, or those with Southern accents have been having some troubles with that. But I was reading a book. Oh, who was it by? Of course, it's behind me, but. Yeah, this guy, he just records, just straight up records.
Is that the guy 5,000 words in an hour or something like that?
Oh, I'm not sure, to be honest. There are so many of those.
Do you know the one I'm talking about, Sarah?
Is that the Chris Fox one?
Yes, that's it.
Yes.
Have you tried that method?
Well, I have to. I'm working with Dragon, but I have to teach it to speak Southern because all my vowels get discombobulated, and since I have Dragon on Mac, it's harder because it's not supported anymore. So you have to buy an older version because Mac doesn't support it anymore, and it doesn't want to retain one. So basically I have to reteach it every time. I have to go through into the tutorial every time. So either that or just go back and edit everything. So I'm looking for...
We live in a very stressful time because things just get outdated so quickly, and then you have to learn something else. And it's like, give me the Middle Ages where you didn't have to learn anything new for like 500 years.
Right. But what you were talking about, Sebastian and Kevin, there is a woman that I saw on TikTok a couple of weeks ago, and she's a stenographer, and she actually, on the side, she dictates for other people or transcribes for other people, like outside of court reporting, like people send their voice recordings, and she was showing how she does it on her little stenographer machine, and she just knocks it out. She's like, yeah, I can do about 8,000 words an hour. And I'm like,
wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so good for her.
I can't talk that fast.
Right? Neither. Well, I could if I really get going, but yeah.
Like Sebastian says, that if you're on a deadline and you've got books and you've got ideas and you're putting them out there, it's worth paying somebody the $40 an hour or whatever they charge to do that stenographer type work, the dictation.
Yeah.
I see that Google does it sometimes, but actually the Google will read it back to you. I think I got that from this group, to hear your work back, you listen to the Google. But for me, just talking into my phone, like I'm dictating an email, it's just like the easiest way for me to do it for dictation.
Okay.
Phone seems to understand my voice better than other things.
Yeah, I definitely, if I can, I'm much better off dictating in front of my laptop, which has Dragon Naturally Speaking, rather than, the phone or something like that. But actually, I just, for fun, I'm putting a link in the chat that is the raw sample that guy used when he was starting this vampire novel he wrote back whenever. And so that's him. It sounds like, I think he's in a car or something, but he's just... just going along, just talking, and it's really interesting. I just thought you might want to see it. John's here in the chat. I'm listening in for the first time too. Greetings all. Riley's here. Riley Black. Hi all. This is my first time here. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you. So anyway, Kevin, I don't know if any of that helps you at all, but if it doesn't help you, maybe it'll help somebody to just bring that up. I do find one of the things I do, because I organize a lot of my notes in Notion. I'll open up. You can just it's like OneNote if you've heard of Microsoft OneNote, just somewhere you can take notes. And I just, I'll just go in here and go to the right area and just hit the button and speech to text. It is a little funky, but to just get an idea out of my head and into that project, I'll just put it in as close as it can. Forget the punctuation, forget the, and if I messes some words up, even just like say a few at the end where it's like, where that doesn't make sense, that'll remind me. So something like that can be useful. So even if it's not something full-time, even part-time, it's especially like something I'm like in the books I'm writing, because there are some things that hopefully are humorous or funny. If you think of something like that, you need to write that down. You will forget. So
yeah, I know. I'll try that this week when I'm out.
Okay.
Out there.
I hope you have a good time.
I always do. It's a kind of a getaway, and my wife's been there twice in the last 25 years. She's tolerant of what I do, but it's still kind of it's a me thing. So it's fun.
Where are you going?
Oh, I have a little place out in West Texas that I'm writing a book about right now, that I've done a lot of renewable energy projects and things on. A little.
I hope you have enough power and water.
I make my own power and have a windmill that brings up my water for free, so I don't worry about any of that.
Nice.
And you're set.
Yes, man. That's kind of what it's about for me, is not being reliant on anyone and never having any debt.
There's something to that. Sarah, how's the writing going? I know you have been in.
It's been, the last couple weeks have been crazy. The writing in and of itself, and you're gonna have to excuse me. I know I'm twitchy today. I threw my back out this week, and so it's struggling to get comfortable here, but that's okay. So I've had that to do with the writing itself this week. Not so much. I've been getting a lot of promo stuff done though. A lot of work in Book Funnel. So a lot of work in Book Funnel. I've been in that all day long. And for those who aren't familiar with Book Funnel, What BookFunnel does is you can list your books that are for sale, regardless of wherever they're for sale at, or reader magnets, which, if you're not familiar with that term, that's a short story or a free novel or whatever you want to give away for free that you can offer to people to sign up to your newsletter as a treat. So, it's like you join my newsletter and get this for free. So, but BookFunnel sort of, you can join different promotions and whatnot through there, and promote your books for sale. They'll facilitate the signing up on your newsletter and give away the free books for you, so you don't have to fool with all that. So I've been working on my promotions so far. I'm working through May on those, so trying to get ready for the next quarter and all that good stuff. So that's where I've been. It's a bunch of boring stuff, but
no, it's not boring. It's not boring. Did you lose power?
Yes, for a little while, a little bit, but we're good.
Did you lose water?
Oh yes, we didn't actually get water back or water that we could use, because even when it came back on, we were still in a boil advisory. We didn't get water back until Thursday of this week, so that was not fun. But
so how long do you think?
From Sunday to Thursday. So,
oh man,
yeah, actually, it's a little longer than that. It was for a weekend, the Sunday before, so it was a week and a half. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I was going to say.
Yeah, it was a week and a half. So without potable water. So, but we made it. So, yay, it's done. Yay, I can clean my house, which is probably how I threw my back out. Trying to get all that done, because
was there a little caffeine involved, maybe?
Oh, there was a lot of caffeine involved.
Oh, that tends to do it for me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, lots of caffeine involved. So in between all of that, it's been a crazy week, but I'm hoping next week we'll get more on track, because I actually have to have things written to promote. So and this week I also finalized my production schedule, my release schedule for the end of the year, through the end of the year. So
really,
yes.
Would you mind sharing some of that?
Sure. I have a release in April. I'm taking May off, but then from June to September, I'm going to have a release every month. So,
what is
a book every month?
What's your pen name and your pen name and what you're going to release?
My pen name is.
You can say it, but it's in the description box.
Yeah, it's in the description box. It's Michelle Mink, Michelle, Mink, Mink. Oh. So, originally I was going to start rapid releasing just April, May, June, whatnot. But since I pretty much missed 3 weeks this month, that put me further back than where I wanted to be. So I'm taking May off. Basically, I'm using May to get ahead, where I should have been the last 3 weeks, but wasn't able to. So I have a release in April, and that'll be book 2 in the series. And then starting in June, it's bam, 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 bam. So, and that'll get me through the end of the year. So, thank you.
And your first your first book is out.
First book is out. Yes.
Gotta be slow. I gotta go plug in.
Okay.
Good. But so this week I need to get 4,000. So put me down for 4,000, please.
Oh, sure. All right, Sarah.
Bar minimum.
Okay, Sarah. All right, Kevin, with your 4,471, what are your tips?
What am I? What? Excuse me.
What are your tips?
Oh, I'm just finally learning where the letters are on the board, so my typing is speeding up. I can think much faster than I can type, so that's really been the difference. My exponential word count, and the fact that I'm really enjoying what I'm doing. And
Oh.
that's the main thing. If you're enjoying it, then you want to get back at it. And or you can do ambient things while listening to YouTube or whatever while you're working. So I'm multitasking and things like that. That's my tip, is just enjoy what you're doing.
That works. I like it.
And know where the letters are.
Know where the letters are. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, I remember I was in college, and I had not been at a school that offered to teach you to type. And I saw an interview. I remember I saw an interview with Anne Rice, and she was talking about typing and what have you. And I had decided, I so loved books and writing. And I was like, well, Anne Rice knows how to type. I should know how to type. So I went down to the library and I got one of those books that stand up. They used to have, where you flip the exercises over. And I just went through them, and I went through all the letters and all of that. And then I got to the numbers part, and I was like, I got stuff to do. So I never learned the numbers, but everything, all the other stuff, good to go. Let's do this.
I heard that the typewriters were originally set up A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K in order, but with the old mechanical machines, the people that were using them were too fast, and the machines couldn't handle the speed, so they moved all the letters around in order to slow the typists down. Yeah, and my son told me they taught them in third grade. Typing was in third grade for them, and that's what they were taught. Was that originally it was A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then no, they switched it around, and then they realized that they just had to leave it where it was, because people would have to relearn everything if they tried to put it back once the machines caught up with the ability to the speed that they have now. They could have left it the way it was, but at the time they couldn't, because the typing was outdoing what the mechanical machine could do.
Yeah, it's because of the hammers. They would jam. So
Right.
as you're using the most common letters, so they split them out, so that as you were typing, you'd get less jamming of the hammers as they came up. But they tried all different kinds before settling on like the QWERTY, what we call the QWERTY keyboard, which is the standard one that looks like it says QWERTY across the top left. But if you go back and you look at histories, you look at pictures of old typewriters, you get all these weird, let's do rounded in 3 lines, 3 lines that go around the machine like this. Let's do, this a long narrow thing. Let's do and all these different things that they tried, and put this up here, and then one of them you type up here, and it would type, actually put the paper down at the bottom, and it was crazy. That early stuff was crazy. End of the 1800s, especially.
And it's interesting. I find that it wasn't until computers came out that guys learned to type. So it used to be that it was like a woman's thing to type, which is one of the reasons why I never learned how to type, because I didn't want to have to do secretarial work. And then now everybody types.
That would be an interesting children's story about a lonely old typewriter that's an obsolete typewriter that, from its perspective, and not being used anymore and up on the shelf because the other typewriter came and took its place.
Oh, that sounds sad, but it could be. I love the old typewriters. As a matter of fact, in a story, one of the stories sitting over here on the shelf that I have not managed to finish yet, it's set in the early 30s, and there's her, like, the reason I'm bringing this up is because she has this typewriter that she takes with her to these different jobs, because it's a really nice one. They even had like beveled glass in the sides on particular types, and but they weighed a ton. You could knock somebody, you could kill somebody if you dropped one of these things on them, and for most of back then, as for all of the in movies and stuff where you see people typing so quickly, the average speed, instead of being up in the 80s, like 85, which is where it was maybe 40 years ago, you go back 90 years, the top speed was more like 35, 40. And it had to do with the hammers. Plus, because it was you had to push harder on each key to get it to move.
Talking about carpal tunnel.
Oh yeah. You had to be, who was it? Was it Hemingway? I forget who it was. One of the famous authors. He said, I was young and said, I want to be a novelist. And someone who was a novelist squeezed his arm, said, well, I think you might be strong enough to be a novelist. He wasn't kidding either. I mean, you had to be able to do that. But anyway, let's see, in the chat here, we've got, I thought I saw, okay, Aspie Third Eyes recommending Mavis Beacon Teaches Typing. I've heard of that. Aspie Third Eyes also saying, when I brought home my first Logitech Wave keyboard, within a week, I went back out and bought 3 more to store in the closet. I fell in love. Yes. Jeanette saying, my parents both went to college in the 1940s and both brought Royal manual typewriters into their marriage. Yeah. And you could get the smaller ones
Very
that were
cool.
Yeah, you could get the smaller ones that were like travel, which were okay, but then the ones the secretaries used or what have you, they were these massive, like, scary. But anyway, all right.
Boat anchors.
Yes, very much so.
Yes.
Yep. But anyway, Allison, how's the writing going?
It's coming along. I've been realizing that I need to get more crafting books under my belt. So I've been reading Save the Cat. Since in my book I happen to save a dog. And strangely enough, I have a dog napping in there. And now I find out that Lady Gaga's dogs got napped. So I figure I can use a little bit of that.
But they're back.
They're back. Yes.
They're back.
Thank goodness.
Thank heavens.
Yes. And then I got this book called Romancing the Beat.
Oh yeah.
That I'm listening to try to figure out how to do my romance at the same time as I'm also having a little mystery in there. So I seem to be like heading more towards the mystery part rather than the romance part. So I'm trying to bring it back to the romance part. So I think I may have bitten off a little bit more than I can chew on this project, but who knows? So I've also been doing research for the profession that she's in. And so I've been watching a lot of Eventbrite things on that. And so it's been fun.
Excellent.
It's been fun. Words? Can't really tell you at the moment because it's all kind of, I'm also learning Scrivener. So it's part of it's in Scrivener, part of it's still on my phone in the form of an email that I'm going to send to myself. And then I found this other Romancing the Beat Scrivener template. Have you seen that, Sarah? Do you use Scrivener templates?
Yeah, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'll Google it. I'm making a note right now.
Yeah, okay. It's with the woman who did Romancing the Beat.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to her site, she's got a download you can do.
Fabulous. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So I'm trying to figure out, hi, Michelle. I'm trying to figure out how to do this with the story that I started in one Scrivener format I don't want to move all of that over to the new one. So I'm trying to figure out how to get the sections that she has and move those sections, the master section over to my other one. Do you think that's possible?
I have no idea. But good luck. I know that is so not the answer you were looking for. But I don't know, but I wish you the best of luck. I would assume maybe cross his fingers with the latest version of Scrivener, you might be able to, if you have both windows open, drag and drop between the two. Don't quote me on that. But
okay, you lost me at both
possible.
windows open.
If you have two projects open, projects instead of windows, if you have two projects open, you might, and emphasis on might, underlined, asterisk, whatnot, be able to drag and drop sections from one to the other. Maybe. I've never tried, so I don't know. But good luck. I'm with you. I'm cheering you on.
So that's pretty much where I am. Except I'm also doing these Eventbrite courses on writing. They give you like a writing prompt. So I've been meeting people from all over the world, a lot of people in England. Their classes at what turns out to be 2 o'clock in the morning my time or 4 o'clock in the morning my time are kind of, a little much, but I'm learning a lot and I just met like a whole group of women from India who are fascinating and they have a whole nother take on the romance beat.
Really? What could you like give an example of what you think how they see it differently?
Well, one of the things that they talk about is when they want to talk about somebody being friend zoned, there's some sort of tradition that they have about brothers and sisters, like a sister will make a bracelet for the brother, and the brother will give the sister a gift. And so what they're saying is that when there's a guy who's interested in them, but they don't really like him, but they really like him like a brother, they will make him a bracelet. And then the guy's like, no, don't give me the bracelet. Don't give me the bracelet.
You just got stuck in the friend zone.
You're right. So, yeah.
That is great. Michelle, hey, how are you doing?
I'm good. I got my second short story written and submitted to Chicken Soup for the Soul, so keep your fingers crossed, guys. It's a cat story.
The cat story, yes.
Yeah. Even though I have no kitties right now, this was about my kitty when I was growing up. So, yep.
I hope it goes well.
Yeah. Me too.
But you got it done and you got it submitted. That's wonderful.
Exactly.
When do they let you know for this one?
I don't know. I just submitted it today. How long did it take you to hear back from them?
It was within the month, but that's because it was for a piece that they're going to be putting out in June. So they had an end date for the book.
Okay. I'll have to go back and check. Off the top of my head, I don't remember them talking about an end date, but it's probably on there and I just glossed over it. But I'm really hopeful. And I'm
absolutely
trying to plug away at the novel still. Got a question for Sarah. Did you hire an editor or are you doing this yourself?
Oh no, I hired someone.
Okay.
I hired someone. Yeah. I use Dominion editorial for my non-romance stuff. And for my romance stuff, I've got another editor. And the main reason being, I started off with Dominion editorial, and they've gone through and read my mystery stuff. I still haven't published that, but it's all edited and done. But it's run by two awesome gentlemen, and they're amazing. But I wasn't comfortable sending them all of my
all your goodies.
Yeah, all the goodies. So I've got a friend of mine, Jamie, who does the editing for my romance stuff. But no, I would highly recommend Dominion editorial. Or there's lots of them out there, but that's just who I used for my non-romance stuff.
Yeah, so. I'm the novice here, and I'm really on a shoestring budget, so I'm trying to weigh pros and cons of which road I should go down with editing.
Right. Well, with Dominion, their prices include editing, proofreading, looking for plot holes, the whole shebang, beta reading, all of it. So it's one flat rate for everything. So, and they're really good.
Thanks.
So you're welcome.
Well, that is wonderful, Michelle.
Thank you.
You guys are Go ahead.
I'm plugging away at it.
And that is amazing. You guys are really inspiring. I just want to say in the chat, Riley was saying I started a collection of old typewriters. I have one from the 30s and one from the 40s. Wow, that's a thing.
Nice.
Yes, that's not easy to find those and just yeah. I was a big flea market person, finding really old books and old stuff, and the old typewriters were amazing. But let's see. John says, I have a vintage 1915 Underwood typewriter. It reminds me of how writing used to be done. Oh, wow. Is it usable, John? I mean, can you actually type on it? Or no, it's not just can you type on it. Could anyone type on it? So let us know about that. John's all saying, congrats, Michelle.
Thank you.
Aspie Third Eye is saying, I have no use for an editor. What I always need is a proofreader. Yeah, well, Sarah was saying that the people she uses, they do all, so that's good. And John was saying that I always remember that good proofreaders are hard to find. Well, that's true. That's true.
Formatting was the biggest hurdle for me to get over. I actually had to pay to have mine formatted properly so that Amazon would accept it.
Was that for a print book or an ebook or both?
Both.
Both?
Yeah, they're formatted differently, obviously. And
yeah.
Yeah,
it wasn't that bad cost-wise, but I would have never been able to do it myself for sure. And my editor, who was the pro bono editor, was not going to take the time to do it either. So it was the formatting, really, Michelle, that was the biggest hurdle for me.
Yeah. Kevin, do you have a PC or a Mac?
It's a Dell. Right now we have a Dell desktop. I don't know what you call it. I mean, I just
learned
what
Windows.
A browser was last week. So you're not asking the right person about anything technological. Okay. I collect antique windmills and barbed wire. You know, that's that's my tech. But no, I don't know what it is. I guess it's a personal computer. I would think. Yeah, it's a PC. So I was just going to say something like Vellum is good, but you have to have a Mac for it, which I don't have one. You can't even like do it on an iPad or something like that. It actually has to be a MacBook. But there are programs that will format ebook and print book for you. But like I said, I was hoping you were going to say you had a Mac, but but anyway, but you could also reuse the formatting you've already got.
least in theory.
Well, that's
Just
true.
put in new content.
The guy that I worked with was really nice. We had like probably almost 50 correspondences back and forth.
Oh,
And
wow.
I would see things and he would see things, and it was probably the hardest $600 the guy ever made, because it took for, a month and a half or something like that. But the end product was good, and that was all that really mattered to me.
And page numbers. Page numbers. People who used to put in page numbers make me so happy.
Well, that and all the spacing on the print book and the heading on the top and everything is way beyond my tech skills.
And all of the things that were done historically, the chapter begins on the right-hand page and it starts down this far and there's no page number on the first page of a chapter, and all of oh, it's a thing. It's a thing. So Riley says I pay to have mine formatted too, so that makes sense. John, going back to his typewriter, he says it does work, but the space bar is broken. Needs a little tune-up. Wow. I bet that's amazing.
Amazing. You can find a ribbon with ink on it that fits it.
That too. Aspie Third Eye is saying that University of, I'm guessing, is that Memphis? A print contractor will come to my desk and help me format the entire thing. They market it on Amazon too. For me, they are a way to go. Many problems solved. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, Jeanette has a question. I've always written on WordPerfect or Word. Should I be using something else? It's entirely up to you. I use Word. So like I was just before I came on, I was recording and I had Word open. So different people some people like Scrivener. Some people don't like Scrivener but use Scrivener. No, Scrivener can be great. Word, there's Google Docs. I don't know. There are lots of different options. But WordPerfect, is that something they still?
Corel. Do they still use it?
I don't know. Does anybody still use WordPerfect?
Are we calling WordPerfect out of habit?
No, they're different.
No, I know they're different, but I know that sometimes if you've grown up with WordPerfect, speaking about Word, you're using Word, but you're thinking WordPerfect.
My Word is 2010 software.
Okay, WordPerfect. It is owned by Corel. At the height of its popularity in the 80s and early 90s, it was the dominant player in word processing, displacing the prior market leader, WordStar. Initial release date 1979. Stable release. Okay, so latest release. So they're still updating it, but it's its own thing. Interesting.
I had tried an app called My Story.
Oh,
I didn't like it.
Oh, you didn't?
Mm-mm. Maybe because I'm not really using it probably for what it was intended, because that's what I tried to write my short on. And when I imported it to Word to save it, I completely lost it. So I had to completely start over. Yeah, so I'm like, thank goodness it was under 1,200 words, so it wasn't this huge anthology, and I'm doing my novel just on straight Word, but that's why I said I was not happy.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I write in Scrivener and back up in Word, and I edit in Word. So because I export to Word to send it to my editors, and then they send me the corrections back in Word, and so I go from there. But yeah, I'm overtly paranoid. I have backups of my backups, so I learned that from her.
Let's see
Yeah,
here.
the save button on Word works really well for me, or autosave.
Yeah. Well, they've just changed in Word, though. They've updated it recently, relatively recently, so that you have to be saving to like your OneDrive folder or something, or it won't automatically save anymore.
Yeah.
So, but if it is saved to that folder, then it will.
You're good.
Let's see. In the chat, we have a little bit more. Let me see. Riley was saying that Riley uses Word. Just bought Scrivener, but haven't really used it yet because all my projects are in Word. Fair enough. Fair enough. John is saying I was a graphic designer for a marketing company. Ooh, designed a couple of books for vanity publishers. Love the language of typography. Oh, who doesn't? Who doesn't? And you guys, I mean, you guys, you must know by now how much I love typography, considering it's always like this font and that font, and oh, look at this font, and I'll change it to that, and all the time, all the time. Okay.
I missed your fonts right now because those blue flowers are very pretty.
Oh, thank you. I keep changing the fonts on the covers, but oh well. Jeanette is saying, I'm old. That's what I used when I first started writing many years ago. I may have to retype that manuscript in Word. Oh, goodness. That's a point. I still haven't gotten. I made a lot of notes for screenwriting in Celtics, CELTX. And then I was trying to find those files, or I still had the files, but I keep meaning I had to sign up to get access to their program again, which is like $20 a month. So I can open the files, convert them, and export them. And I keep meaning to finish that. Oh, thank you for reminding me. Oh, yeah. Sometimes you do. You end up having to, there's a new thing and you have to get the old stuff out before those files become obsolete. And then what you've written is poof. Yeah.
Well, like you need another thing to do.
That's true. Let's see. Aspie Third Eye saying, I'm still using Word 2003 on my home machine. I understand. As an administrative as an administrative associate, Word is where formatting is done. Fair enough. John saying, I used Corel Draw and loved it for design. Always preferred it over Adobe Illustrator. Oh, interesting. And Jeanette, I agree. Sarah, you are not paranoid. You are wise. I'm agreeing with Jeanette here. A colleague in grad school lost 8 chapters of her dissertation because she never backed it up or printed it out. Oh, man.
Oh, that's
I hit the save button every paragraph. Literally every paragraph I go back and hit the save button.
Yes. Wow.
That's nightmare inducing. Like,
yes. Yeah, that's that basically, and it brought the whole group to their knees. Like, yeah, we've all been there. Yeah. All right. Okay, so Kevin, you had said that you want to write 1,000 words this coming week because you are going to be traveling, and I hope your travels go very well out there.
Thank you.
And Sarah, you had said you want 4,000 this week. Got you down for that. Allison, do you have any writing goals this week? And it's okay if people don't. I don't mean to put you on the spot. Just
my goal is to get my story from into the new Scrivener template.
okay.
Figure out how to do that. And
a worthy goal. Scrivener template.
Sarah, if you can't find it, just let me know.
Thank you so much. I will.
How about you, Michelle? Do you have you who have finished your story and submitted it? Do you have another writing goal this week?
Well, I'm going to shoot for 1,000, but how it usually works
Excellent.
with me, if I've got the energy right, it usually goes over 1,000. So,
well, I'll just put you down for 1,000.
okay.
Okay. And in the chat, to ask me Third Eye saying, I hit save at the end of getting down every train of thought. Good idea. Very good idea. That should be the caboose on every train of thought.
Save.
Yes. And Jeanette says, and she was, this poor woman who lost 8 chapters of her dissertation. And she was the TA for a class where every other sentence of the professors was back up everything. Yeah. Well, I will say that I had been talking about the possibility of doing what I'm calling a video book as opposed to an audio book. And so even before I came on just now, I was recording. So, and I'm thinking I'm going to shoot for Tuesday releases of chapters. So, and later on so this Tuesday, I want to bring out chapter 1 that everybody can listen to, or if they want, in theory.
How are we going to find it?
It'll be on this channel, actually. I'm just going to publish it on this channel, and I'll create a playlist for anybody who wants to hear them in order. I will say I'm starting to regret a few of my choices, such as fiction section and defibrillated. They're useful. It's useful for the sentence because it's vaguely comedic, but I still have to say defibrillated in the middle of this long sentence. It's like, okay, fail, try again. Okay, fail, try again. Okay, fail, try again. So, but that's my thing. If I do not come out with chapter 1 this week, or at least basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out with my recording of chapter 1 on Tuesday, and over time maybe I'll be able to come back. I'll be able to redo some things or add music or open it. I can make new versions of things, but it's like, no, just want to get it down, do the best I can, and edit it so that you can just listen to it all through. You can watch it if you want, but you can listen straight through, and we'll see how that goes. So that's Tuesday. In publishing, Tuesdays are the days they publish books. So I thought Tuesday's good.
And this is in time you're talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Thank you.
And since I'm an outliner, there are 24 chapters in each of my novels. So that's the goal. All right. Yes, Allison.
I had a suggestion for your work that's in another Word Perfect or something, or Corel or whatever. If you read it and dictate it, that might be a way to save it quickly.
Brilliant suggestion, Allison. Excellent. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, it's been almost an hour. Can you believe it? It just goes by so quickly. And yeah, it does. And you guys are so great, and you're so inspiring and positive, and it's wonderful. It's just wonderful to see. All right, so that's going to do it for us this week, but hopefully people will be able to come back next week. We do this every Saturday at 4:00 Central Time in the U.S. I guess I should say 5 Eastern, 4 Central. That's how they always used to do it on TV. Allison, what do you need?
Yes. Is anyone going to do the NaNoWriMo thingy in April?
Oh, I hadn't thought about that.
I didn't know there was one for April.
Yes, it's called Camp.
Yeah.
It's called Camp NaNoWriMo.
April and July, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it June or July? July.
July. There's the main ones in November, but there are lesser known one. There's one in April and one in July. It used to be that the April one was just for a screenplay, just for writing a screenplay, but they changed it. So now there are 3 months of the year one could be writing 50,000 words if you so choose. I wasn't thinking about it. I had kind of put it out of my mind.
The cool thing about camp, though, is it doesn't have to be 50,000. You can set whatever limit you want.
Right.
So you could set your limit to be 10,000 if you wanted to for the month. Whatever works for you. So camp is very customizable.
I forgot about that. Thank you, Sarah.
So let me know if anybody else wants to go to camp this year.
I'll do it.
Okay, cool.
I'm here.
I'm down.
here.
Let's roll.
Probably will also.
All right, everybody, we're going to camp.
Yay!
We're going to camp.
We're going to camp. Roll the Addams Family jokes. What does it mean? It means orphan. All right, everybody. Oh, Jeanette's saying, thank you, learned a lot. Oh, great. John saying, thanks, everyone. This was enjoyable. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you guys for everything. And we'll see you next week. All right. Take care. All right. Bye-bye.